Good evening and welcome to a summary of the news. His Majesty King Abdullah condemned as cowardly act two separate attacks in Kuwait and Tunisia. In a cable to Kuwaiti Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmad Jabir Al-Sabah, His Majesty expressed his condolences over the deaths of innocent victims in a terrorist attack on Imam Sadiq Mosque that also wounded a number of Kuwaiti nationals. In the cable, His Majesty strongly denounced such acts of terror, praying God to bless the souls of those who fell and wish the wounded a speedy recovery. In a separate cable to Tunisian President Al-Baji Qaid Al-Sibsi, His Majesty also expressed his deep sympathy over the loss of innocent lives in a terror attack that targeted a tourist resort in the city of Susa that killed a number of Tunisian and visiting tourists. Jordan strongly condemned the terrorist attack that targeted worshippers at a mosque in Kuwait City that claimed the lives of a number of innocent people and injured many more. State Minister for Media Affairs Mohammed Al-Momani said Jordan will always stand by Kuwait against terrorism, which targets its security and stability. Momani voiced heartfelt sympathy with the families of the victims and wished the injured a speedy recovery. The minister also stressed solidarity with the Tunisian people and government following an attack on a beach near two tourist hotels in the Tunisian resort town of Susa that claimed the lives of scores of people. Momani expressed Jordan's condemnation of all forms of violence and terrorism, regardless of their sources. The Jordanian government also condemned an attack at a gas factory near Lyon in southeastern France and voiced its solidarity with the French people and government. United Nations Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon strongly condemned the attacks in Kuwait, Tunisia and France, saying the world body's commitment to fight extremism had only been strengthened. Ban extended his condolences to the families of those killed and injured in today's attacks and expressed his solidarity with the peoples and governments of Kuwait, Tunisia and France.
The Secretary-General condemns in the strongest terms the terrorist attacks in Tunisia, Kuwait and France today. Those responsible for these appalling acts of violence must be swiftly brought to justice. The Secretary-General affirms that far from weakening the international community's resolve to fight the scourge of terrorism, these heinous attacks will only strengthen the commitment of the United Nations to help defeat those bent on murder, destruction and the annihilation of human development and culture. The Secretary-General extends his condolences to the families of those killed and injured in today's attacks and expresses his solidarity with the peoples and governments of Tunisia, Kuwait and France.
A suicide bomber killed 25 people when he blew himself up inside a packed Shiite mosque in Kuwait City during Friday prayers. At least 200 others were injured in the attack on the Imam Sadiq Mosque, which was packed with at least 2,000 worshippers. Witnesses said that worshippers were kneeling in prayer when the bomber walked into the mosque and detonated his explosives, destroying walls and the ceiling. Daesh terrorist group claimed responsibility for the attack and named the bomber as Abu Sulaiman al-Muwahid. And a gunman disguised as a tourist opened fire at a Tunisian hotel with a Kalashnikov he had hidden in an umbrella. The death toll from the shooting attack on the Imperial Marhaba in Susa resort town has risen to 37, including British, German and Belgian tourists. Shortly afterwards, an explosion erupted before police shot the gunman dead. Police captured a second gunman, but officials did not immediately confirm the arrest or his role in the attack. Today's attack was the second major attack on Tunisia this year, following an assault on Tunis Bardo Museum when gunmen killed 21 foreign visitors. While in France, a decapitated body was found at a U.S.-owned factory outside the southeastern city of Lyon after an assailant rammed a delivery van into gas containers at the site, triggering an explosion. A source close to the investigation said the victim was the boss of the suspect, a delivery man. The two had gone to the company to make a delivery, but the assailant killed and beheaded his manager before entering the secured site in the vehicle. The attacker was injured in the blast and arrested on site. President Francois Hollande described the attack a terrorist attack, saying all measures would be taken to stop any future strikes. Hollande also said the terror alert level would be raised in the affected region for 3 days, with checks carried out at sensitive sites, including stations and industrial estates.
In France, we have a spirit that must be cherished, and that's our unity, our ability to make it through, as we showed at the start of January, an honorable moment for France and a moment of pride. At the same time, the French people should know that security forces are today deployed on a scale not seen in our country for decades.
And in their continued fight against terrorism, the United States and its allies staged 28 airstrikes targeting Daesh in Syria and Iraq over the past 24 hours. In Syria, 10 strikes near the border town of Kobani hit 8 units of Daesh terrorists, as well as several vehicles, fighting positions and staging areas used by the group. Other strikes in Syria hit near Tel Abyad, Raqqa and Deir ez-Zor, while in Iraq 14 strikes targeted Daesh in 10 cities, including Mosul, Sinjar and Tal Afar. Earlier, there were reports that Daesh killed at least 145 civilians in an attack on Kobani. The group pressed a separate assault to capture government-held parts of the northern eastern city of Hasaka, blowing up a security building and triggering a government appeal for all residents to take up arms. And finally, quick look at the weather forecast. Moderate conditions will prevail over the next 3 days in the hilly areas, while it will be relatively hot in the south. Temperatures in Amman for the next 3 days will range between a high of 27 degrees Celsius and a low of 16. And that's all for tonight. Have a pleasant evening.